Finally, after almost 7 years, Season 3 Episode 1 of One Punch Man just dropped, and man, do we have a lot to talk about. But before I get into the first episode, what do we know about One Punch Man Season 3? First of all, we're not getting 24 episodes. Season 3 will be the usual 12 or so episodes we've been getting with all the previous seasons. JC Staff is still the animation studio working on Season 3, but there is a change in the director. Chikara Sakurai has stepped aside for Shinpei Nagai to take the mantle. This will be the second time there will be a change in directors for this anime. The new director is a very controversial one, as he's worked on several adult or 18 plus animes before. He's worked on hentai, okay? The guy has directed hentai before, okay? It is what it is. Some fans are disappointed and hate this, while others, like myself, might be secretly celebrating. But what people are failing to see here is that Nagai has also worked on a lot of good animes before. He's worked on episodes of shows like Food Wars, of course, Dr. Stone, JoJo, Dead Alive, Deadmau5 Death Play, freaking Pokemon 2006, Yu-Gi-Oh 2020, Psycho-Pass, Banana Fish. He's worked on a lot of normal animes before. Maybe he doesn't have the experience required for an action-packed anime like One Punch Man, but at least we'll get the very best of our female characters in the show. If the animation in all the fighting scenes are bad, at least we all know where the budget is actually going. But jokes aside, I really don't think Nagai as the director is as bad as most people think. Plus, he already said we should not expect Season 3 to be as good animation-wise as Season 1, so that's there. Season 3 is obviously more action-packed than Season 2 and has some of the most epic fights in the entire series, so this is kind of a letdown too as well. We also know there'll be some anime original scenes in Season 3 that are not in the manga. As we already saw in Episode 1, some panels of the manga were just cut out in the anime, and that was supposed to be the one piece of action we should have gotten in the first episode. More about that later in the video. JC Staff better be saving the animation budget for the major fights coming up. Season 1 of One Punch Man covered 37 chapters of the manga. Season 2 covered 48 chapters, so we can expect Season 3 to hopefully end in chapter 132, which was the start of Tatsumaki versus Psycho Orochi. Though that is a bit of a stretch. Honestly, it'll most likely end as Saitama versus Orochi at chapter 115, meaning it would cover just 30 chapters, and I say this because in the opening we saw in episode 1, this is what we see: Saitama versus Orochi. And seeing how episode 1 covered just 2 chapters, or really 2.5 chapters, being chapter 85 to chapter 86.5, Saitama versus Orochi will most likely be the end of Season 3. Episode 2 will cover just 2 chapters again, seeing how chapter 87 and 88 does have more content than 85 and 86 covered in episode 1. Moving on now to the actual first episode now. As I've mentioned before, the first episode is not an action-packed one. Most of the Monster Association arc is pure action though, so episode 1 obviously just sets up all that. Talking about the animation now, there were a lot of stiff frames in there, but that could be excused because most of the episode is just dialogue. The compositing though in episode 1 is really impressive, probably the best aspect of the animation there is. From the opening, we did see some reused shots from Season 2, which isn't all that encouraging to see. They reused the scene of Saitama posing the Punch Elder Centipede from Season 2 and the Earth View scene, but they're just like minor details. The opening overall isn't bad, but I have to say the whole episode does feel different. It's not the same as Season 2. Most of the stiff frames can be excused because nothing really happened in episode 1. Narinki, one of the primary sponsors of the Hero Association, has had his son Waganma kidnapped by the Monster Association. So the Hero Association is prepping up to send all available heroes to the Monster Association HQ to save him, and the heroes do include the S-Class. Child Emperor has a conversation with Metal Knight and tries to persuade him to give info on where the kid is because Boyphone knows, but he doesn't talk. Narinki sends his private force to go ahead first to rescue Waganma, but they're immediately captured by the monsters. Fubuki Honestly, it's times like this you really have to appreciate Murata for the drawings, for the peek he gave us in the manga. Looking at the manga panels and the anime side by side, and it's really not just there. But again, still, beautiful compositing in the anime. Everyone's at Saitama's apartment, Fubuki, Bang, Bomb, Genos, King, but Saitama ends up leaving to go get Garo. Garo, on the other hand, wakes up in the Master Association HQ to find that the private force Narinki sent are already begging for their lives. This is where scenes were cut out from the manga. Royal Reaper and Bug God were supposed to be present here, with Royal Reaper wanting to kill the private force guys but Duez stopping him. But that part in the anime was cut out for some reason. Maybe a call from director Nagai or something. He does have power over what might be cut out in the anime. Garo is told by Orochi that he has to kill a hero to be considered a part of the Master Association, but we all know Garo doesn't really care about that. The ending scene of Speedo Sound Sonic and Hellfire Flame and Gal Wind were from the bonus chapter 86.5. Overall, the episode was actually pretty good. Is it better than season 2 though? I don't know, only time will tell. I'll be doing breakdown videos like this for every episode of One Punch Man season 3, so subscribe to get more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.